Welcome to another edition of the Stack Podcast, interview edition, and I have with me today the one and only Eric, longtime industry individual, now working incredibly well with Legion. Thanks for joining me.
It's a pleasure, Shane. Great to be here. Happy to be here for you.
We've known each other for when did we first meet? I'm thinking
It's been at least 15 years. It's been at least 15 years.
It was at the Arnold. I remember seeing you at the Arnold. I was maybe 10 years ago, maybe a little bit more. I lose track, but obviously you've been around with many different brands, big, small, some of the biggest, some of them more moderate. And was it early this year or late last year that you came on board with Legion?
Yeah, it's been about 3 months now. Yeah, prior to that, I was with Bucked Up. But yeah, I think we met probably before I was with Muscle Sport prior to that. So I was probably either, because I know you have a great relationship with Greg. So I don't know if I met you through him or if it was probably prior to that. So
I believe it was an Arnold. We must have sat down. I remember having a dinner somewhere with you and Greg. I'm thinking 16 or 17. I might be miles off.
Would make sense at this point, but I know the last time I saw you was at FIBO, actually, in Germany.
Yes.
So.
Well, yeah. So you've obviously been with a lot of brands. Well, a good amount of brands. Is the whole system or the whole environment, I guess, with Legion, is it quite different? Is it like, I guess, obviously working with others, big and small, you have some experience on that?
Yeah. So, I think all brands are relatively consistent from let's say from when I first started to now. I would say the industry is obviously different, but the brands, the products that we make and stuff like that are all at the core relatively the same. I think that, Legion offers somewhat of a different, a more of a niche to it, being on the 100% natural side of things. So I think that's different from what a lot of brands typically do or what they're doing right now. I think they all have series or specific products that go that route, but Legion, I think what sets them apart is that the entire line is based off of that natural perspective. So, I think based on all the stuff that's kind of coming out now with artificial flavoring and whatnot and stuff like that. So you just, it offers a full line of products versus just like, a few here or a few there. So I think that's what makes it unique.
I find it interesting that it's because I often forget. I suppose so. Usually, when you have brands that do natural stuff, it's somewhat of a limitation. They don't necessarily, like, you'll see a natural series and it'll be chocolate, vanilla, protein. It'll be basic stuff like, hey, we can't do the whole line, but we'll do this.
Yeah.
Whereas Legion, they've gone so deep into so many different things. You almost forget that, oh yeah, it's still under that circumstance that usually limits a lot of people. They've hit clear. I don't think there's a space that they haven't dipped into yet, like without really, really digging down.
That's what makes it so cool is to your point is, there's the powder side of things, there's the functional food side of things, and now we're even into the energy drink side of things as well, just from a natural. Now, like you said, there's always that natural portion, or it's like, hey, this product sells really well from this, whatever brand it is. And it's like, so let's make a natural version of that product. Right. And we'll make a separate flavor for it. But for us, it's like the whole lineup has from start to finish is natural, and it's worked really well from us. We hold quality to the highest standard, from our proteins all the way down to our energy drinks, functional foods, and basically all the, even in obviously the new stuff that we're going to be launching too. So it's exciting. It's different to a point, but I think it offers the population and both domestically and internationally something fun and something that is definitely, I would say, unique right now, to have an entire line that's you can go to every time and what you're going to get in terms of a natural backing to it, right? So it's like, hey,
I can't think of any others, like none, like as extensive. Like I said, usually they limit themselves to protein or nutrition stuff or whatever it may be. Legion, I think, to me, has a very European line where you have like every little nook and cranny hit, everything taken care of, and as you say, you guys keep pumping this stuff out, and I've been pretty blown away over the past year that it hasn't stopped. Like, you get bursts usually, but
Yeah, yeah. I think that's I would say I think that's what keeps things fun for a lot of consumers at this point. Is like that,
yeah.
basically the need for something new or something more, whether it be it a flavor or a product or an entire line or a series or something like that. You have to keep it fun and functional and make sure that people stay interested in the brand based on those things. So yeah, we're always trying to launch something new, something exciting. I mean, we just had our natural Rice Krispie treat, a protein Rice Krispie treat launch. That was awesome. Clearway, I saw you did a post on our Clearway. We literally can't keep Clearway in stock. It's crazy how fast it goes. Our creatine gummies, same thing, natural. And I know, with the misconception behind a lot of gummies, man. It's funny that, I bring it up for a reason. One, like, I think our creatine gummies, they taste awesome. But on the same side of things, it's like all this negativity behind creatine gummies right now. And ironically, I just talked to my CEO and I was like, hey, do we have stability testing on this? And they were like, yeah, right now we're up to 15 months on our stability testing. And
that's good.
Our creatine gummies are still holding at the label claim.
I find every time someone asks me, I'm just like, I think the catch is with a lot of this stuff is that the manufacturer doesn't know necessarily what creatine is or other active ingredients, but they'll treat it the same. And then a guy who sells supplements might not know the gummy manufacturing points and pieces. Yep. And so then one tells the other, I made it with creatine. Okay, cool, perfect. Like, you think the other person knows the full extent of manufacturing and vice versa. Why would you give me this ingredient if it wasn't stable? And then it comes out the other side that it wasn't made. And there are ways to do it. Obviously, there are ways to do it. We've seen a lot of guys that do it. But I think the catch is the ones that just go to someone, here, put this in a gummy, cool, done. And then it comes out, went through high heat, pH levels aren't great.
Yep.
And it's just not a format it's almost perfectly designed to ruin creatine.
It really is.
And then it is to keep it stable. But like Legion, knowing everything and what they're about, it doesn't surprise me. And stability testing is the biggest part. Because testing it on day one, that's the first hurdle. Ensuring the creatine is still there is the second 50% of the other problem.
Yeah, I mean, to their point, and it's awesome because it just means our customers and the people that we work with, distribution companies, and whether that be domestic or international, it just means they're doing their work on their end. So, as they should, right? They want to bring in, I would say most want to bring in a good product that basically says what it or can tell people that the label claim is what it is. So, for us, we're third party tested. Everything, you can find all of our products on labdoor.com, and everything's got a letter grade to it. So you can see, hey, they tested it. And I don't think there's any product of Legion right now on labdoor.com that isn't an A, an A or higher. So A plus, or I don't even know if they do A pluses, but I know everything's an A, at least an A.
If they do A plus, you guys would have it.
I would hope so. I mean, honestly, our creatine gummies, I would say would definitely have an A plus as of right now, just based on everything going on with creatine gummies. So yeah, I mean, I think that's one product for us that we're really, really proud of. I think it's great that it is, it's doing so well based on all the stuff that's about, going around about the gummies, and we're proud of it.
I think the interesting part is that, again, like as I was saying, Legion, I would know, or I would assume, well, no, I'd say I'd know, going into the manufacturing process of the gummies, that's like, they would know, hey, creatine breaks down this, and this. Like, they would understand what to look for and what not. So it makes, like I said, because that's been on the market from Legion for, I thought it was last year. I thought it was
Yeah,
a
I'll
year
be honest with
before.
you. Obviously, being here 3 months, I'm not exactly positive about the timeline of it,
It's
but
been around for a while. It's not. It definitely hasn't come in the more recent wave
yeah.
of like around this era. I would say 2025. But
Well, stability test is for 15 months, so it's got to
yeah.
be.
Okay, there you go. So yeah,
So,
what is it like the innovation, like I guess pipeline? How does it sort of do you know much about how the brand sort of goes after the categories it goes after? Because I've always found it interesting. Like, usually, superfood like greens would pick up in 2022. Someone makes a greens, and then energy drinks became popular in like 24, and then you do that. But Legion, some of them make like follow that path, but then some of them you just like okay, like the crispy Rice crispy protein bar.
yeah.
Um, that kind of came out of left field. Didn't expect that to be one, and then clear protein as well. Like it
Yeah.
seems very yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I listen. I think obviously, we're always trying to be the first out the door when it comes to any product. So you try and do market analysis. I think that right now it's like the clear way thing, right? Be it an RTD version or a powder version. I think those are heavy hitters. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've seen literally anything with creatine in it, be it a gummy, a protein powder. I mean, just a combo product of creatine, HMB, electrolytes. Really,
Yeah.
anything with creatine in it is hitting like super hard, and I love it because like that when I was younger, that was the big thing. It was like, hey, get creatine.
This is go to.
It was
It's
awesome.
protein, creatine,
And
and
then
glutamine.
yeah, glutamine, absolutely. And then it kind of went into like this. It was a long time of like, I think you would say like pre-workout, right? It was like, and
Oh
then
yeah.
everyone was like, oh well, creatine's stupid. Like, why am I going to pay for creatine? I want pre-workout. And I always used to say, I was like, you know what, creatine is like, I have kids. Like my son played football, and I would always say to him like, hey, let's jump on creatine. And he would be like, well, I want pre-workout, and I'm like, why? So I'd always ask him and his friends that why, and they're like, "Wow, it's really cool," and this, that, and the other thing. And I try and educate as much as you can on it. But ultimately, I think the whole thing behind creatine versus like a pre-workout or something like that is like creatine by itself is just, it's not sexy, right?
It's not sexy.
It's
It's getting
not
there.
like, it's like, it's just creatine, like whatever, who cares? But
Yeah.
now creatine is becoming more sexy. So just on how people are using it and what they're doing with it. So I think creatine, I love it though. I love it. I think it's awesome that creatine's making a comeback. But for our other products, we do the same things. We follow trends, and we obviously do our research and stuff like that. And we're looking to kind of, launch something. Now, the cool part about us is that even if someone comes out with a product, we can always make it our way because it's naturally
Yeah.
flavored. So, we're really good at flavoring at this point, on the natural side of things. So, when someone comes out with an artificial flavor one, it's like, hey, okay, cool. Like we'll stay in our lane. We'll launch a natural version of it, and it'll be badass. So that's really the goal, and that's kind of the path that we followed from when we started to where we are now.
And so more recently, I recall, I think it was last year, maybe the year prior, that because Legion was heavily D2C, very much
Yep.
online, and then it was Vitamin Shop, correct? That it
Correct.
was,
Yep.
and it had this big launch, which was a big move. And as successful as Legion is, I still think those steps, like no matter the size of the company, shifting from online only or D2C only to a
Retail.
retail, especially like Vitamin Shop. This isn't, your local supplement store. That's a big rollout. And so is that kind of like altered the focus so much on, not necessarily altered, but at least yeah, I would say maybe altered is a good word, that helped their choice and their path and the sort of which things that they do and whatnot, like because it's about a year or so into that retail rollout.
Yeah, it's not, honestly, what's crazy is it's January. We basically rolled out, give or take a few weeks there, but
It was
we
in
rolled out.
January that you launched there.
Yeah, I think it was, honestly, I think it was like
Man.
February. I think usually the end of January, like first week February. So it was like, and it's been awesome, to be honest with you. It's been crazy. Like the following that we've gotten, obviously an order standpoint, we've been doing really well. Like, that's great, right? That just means that people like it and they're coming back and they're buying more of it. So it's super exciting. And I think we just felt it was the next step. Obviously, we built a good D2C business, and we have a great following, tons of reviews on Amazon and on our website and whatnot. And, we just felt like, hey, listen, the next step is retail for us. So, we teamed up with some good people and, worked ourselves into Vitamin Shop. And, we have some awesome other retailers jumping on board soon with us. We've gotten into some pretty big international accounts, which has been great. So we're coming into, various countries throughout the world in just that short period of time. Hopefully that I've come on board. So it's been a lot of fun, and it's cool to see the growth from a retail standpoint on my end. Obviously, from the D2C side, I'm not super digital from like selling on Amazon and whatnot, but like from the retail side, it's awesome to see kind of like the growth that we've had in such a short period of time.
Is there any kind of products? Because selling D2C and usually when a brand comes up, sometimes they are sort of known for, or their audience gravitates to a particular product. Like you guys obviously have your flagships and whatnot. Has that varied much with like the retail presence? Because when it comes to Vitamin Shop or most retailers, you have to kind of trim down. You obviously can't sell them everything. Has there sort of been a surprise, and like I didn't expect that to be as big as it is?
Yes and no. Not really, I should say. I mean, our flagship products, obviously, our Pulse pre-workout is massive for us. Our Weight Plus, our Weight Isolate. I mean, we have like 24 flavors of it in our 30 serve size alone. The cool part is with our Weight Plus is that all of the protein it's 95% grass fed, meaning that the cow, we pull it from Ireland. So all of the raw whey that we get is actually from Ireland. It's guaranteed 95% grass-fed whey. And I know for myself, as I've gotten older, like my stomach's more sensitive to things. So I definitely feel a difference from that standpoint, like from a grass-fed or something that's truly grass-fed to something that says that it may be grass-fed. It's just, I don't know. I feel like there's differences, right? It's like a free-range egg. It may not mean that it's like, what I mean? It just means that they're allowed out like for like a couple hours. They may not go outside, but like, it's just they're allowed. So, I think that's, my body has noticed a difference from that standpoint of just like going from, taking a truly grass fed to, just a whey concentrate or whatever it is. So I try and, my body unfortunately has to stick to a higher quality at this point, just based on the, my age and getting older and whatnot. So obviously, that product does great for us in Vitamin Shop. We do great with Pulse and Vitamin Shop. Our creatine gummies, to be honest with you, they were hesitant to take them just from all the stuff that you heard about them. But then when we shared with them the stability testing and all that, they were like, yeah, let's do it. And it's been awesome. So, like those three products have been probably our home runs for it. And then we have a few others like, capsule products and stuff like that are doing well, obviously, but then, there's always got to be a leader and a follower. So
it's very interesting because it's the position of Legion for me is that it's a very, I would say mainstream. Like it's a very, not necessarily in the sense that mainstream level of consumers, but the selection that you do well with is not easily done well with to the extent that you've done it. Like you hit more categories than probably, I would say 99% of brands in America and even North America in its entirety. And you do well because usually, like I said, that leads to doing well with this one or that one or something specific and whatever. But you lead with the protein and the creatine and then the pre-workouts as well. And the funny thing is like the only brand that I know of that's really the brands that are in that realm that kind of do that and have that breadth is like Optimum. And it's like it always, every time I've always seen Legion, I always like to compare it to them because you haven't had anyone that's kind of come along and offered that reliability, the quality, and then you've got the natural twist, which they don't have on everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like you're one of the rare ones that's really kind of, whether or not that was the goal, that seems to be that whole model, which is not easy, very difficult to even execute and even do well with.
Yeah, I mean, we have, anytime you could be related to a brand such as Optimum, you take it as a compliment, right? I mean, you have to, considering how long they've been around and how well they've done, obviously, right? So obviously they're doing something right. We've done a good job of launching really good products, a lot of products. Obviously, some have done amazing, but like I said, there's always got to be a number one and there's got to be a number 10. So we have some that are great movers and we have some that move well but are kind of in the bottom, but that's normal, right? So the thing that we like to do is like we put basically a peer review. We only like to use ingredients that are basically have a peer reviewed study to go along with them. So that's it's just one of the big things that we like to do, right? So we don't like to use anything that isn't proven in some sense to work, right? So you won't see us putting crazy weird things into our products that you can't find any information on, right? You can literally go to our website, go to a product, look at an ingredient that's in our product, and you can go down and scroll down on our website and see where's this peer-reviewed study coming from? So it's like, or what makes it that this ingredient is so good, and click on something and actually do some education behind it and learn why we put it in our product. So that's kind of like what we've tried to do and how we've tried to, come to market with our various products and the ingredients that we use in those products.
Is there anything that you would say has kind of been, because obviously you roll out certain things, like you just did a flavor of greens. Like you said, you kind of add to the various menus. Mm-hmm. Is this one thing that has come out, or even potentially coming out, that you're sort of like the team's like, this will be the golden egg? And I understand you could probably say no, each of them is as perfect and as beautiful as the next. No, but is there anything?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I mean, listen, we're always trying to launch something. I mean, you pray to God, right? When you launch a product, you're like, this is going to be it. Baby.
All of them are going to be that.
We're retiring right after this one, right? It's I'm winning the lotto here. No, you just hope that one of those products or one of those ingredients is going to be, or one of those ingredients that you put in your product is going to be the hero SKU and set the market for you. But I think that I feel like it's the culture that you kind of have to create. I know this is going to sound really cliche, but it's like the culture that you create behind the brand is kind of what you want to, you want the whole brand to do well and all the products that you make to do well. But I mean, I think if you can come out with if you can find a sweet spot in terms of like a product that may either already be on the market or a product that's coming to the market or something like that. And you find that spot that, hey, maybe they don't like the size of this product, or maybe it's too sweet, or it's not sweet enough, or, whatever it is. And you're just trying to figure out, hey, maybe it's a combination. Let's add this into the product. I mean, you see, other brands, saying like, oh, here's an energy drink, but we're going to add, I don't know, whatever, a probiotic and
nootropic or something,
protein to it. Yeah. Like there's always something that you're trying to like make or excel or make better, right? Like that's the goal, right? I mean, but you're at the same time, you're also trying to be cost effective for the end consumer or the distributor that you're trying to sell to, or whatever it is, right? And you have to take that all into account, and hopefully you come up with a hero product. So, we have some cool things that are definitely on the horizon for us. Hopefully, I think this year, if not this year, then early next year, that I think will be awesome and people will say wow to. Maybe we'll do a nice little launch at the Arnold. I don't know. But it'd be fun. Like I said, it's fun and it's fun to discuss internally and see kind of like, hey, like what can we do to set this apart from what's already out there? So I think once you take into account all those things and, you bring a product out, it's, obviously you're hoping for the best, and you think it'll do well based on what your, internal discussions have been, and go from there.
Yeah, it's usually the question whenever I ask people, usually they'll have something like that is, I guess, at the core of the brand, or like, hey, this is going to be the best. This is going to be like, I like this sort of thing in my life, and so I want to reflect that in my brand. But kind of going back to like the discussion of like brands similar to Legion is more or less the entire family, the entire catalog of Legion that kind of builds onto one another. Like, I don't think anything like I'm sure there are people that buy singular items from Legion, but it's one of those places where you buy everything from them. So it's
Yeah, I agree with you. I do think that 100%. I do think that once you've come over to that natural side of things,
yeah,
I do agree with you. I do think that once you're over there, it's like you're either over here or you're over there, right? It's kind of like, but once you come over to the natural side and you're like, oh, this actually, this tastes really good, and it's got protein in it, or it's a good pre-workout. Wow, look at this. I can read a study on it and see why they're putting in what they're putting in. I think, from that side of things, speaking specifically about Legion, yeah, I think, it's definitely intriguing, and people want to stay on that side and, and kind of try out, oh, well, that was really good. What else does this brand sell that I can, take? Oh, wow, they sell energy drinks. Great. Let's try one of those. So yeah, to your point, I do agree with you. I do think, it's like, now that
it's a one-stop shop type thing.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's interesting.
Yeah.
I find it interesting that the brand, and like you're saying, it prides itself on the natural side, but it does so well in doing everything that a natural brand doesn't do that I never actually think of it as that. I always think of it as just one of the brands that competes with the big one. That's and that's just one of the things it offers that no one else does.
Yeah.
It's
and we're a modern version of it too, right? I mean, I think there's been other brands out there that have really tried it, but I think we've modernized it to a point and have done it really, have done really well at that. So I think there have been brands in the past that have done it, and even to the point of doing most of their products in it. But I don't know. I could be completely wrong on this, but I don't know.
I can't think of anyone that's gone as deep as you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm sure, like I said, that there's brands that have done a natural set of products, but I don't, not like to the point of what we have, and honestly, it's done as well we have, with the slew of products that we do have. So I mean, don't get me wrong, I think, I mean, we're just trying to come out with new products, new things, and trying to build on that culture from a marketing standpoint, and then just let the products speak for themselves. I mean, that's really what we've done, and it's worked out really great for us as well. So yeah, it's exciting.
No, it's been awesome, and thank you for taking the time coming on to chat about Legion. Might have to get you back on for this mystery launch that you're alluding to around the Arnold. I think that sounds of interest.
Could be around the Arnold. I don't know if it's going to be around the Arnold. It's I'm hoping it's before that, to be honest with you.
Okay, then, yeah. Well, no, thank you for coming on and having a chat, and going over the brand and everything.
No, my pleasure, man. It's been, I'm glad that we saw each other at FIBO and we've had a chance to kind of do this. I'm looking forward to, hopefully we can come on again, maybe do something. I mean, our goal is definitely to be at the Arnold. So, regardless of whether or not we do a product launch, but, it'll be awesome to kind of catch up with you there. So,
oh, definitely.
I'm sure you'll be there. You're at all these shows.
Oh, of course.
You have to be, right?
Yeah. It's in the contract.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. So I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It's been fun.